Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for the Untangle 101 webinar series. Today we'll be discussing how Untangle's Firewall solution solves school and library network problems, as well as discussing how Untangle helps you to meet your CIPA compliance and qualifies for E-rate funding. My name is Shannon Miles, I'm part of the product marketing team here, and I'll be your host today. I also have with us our Director of Sales, Katie Bensten, who will be doing the demonstration. So just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. If you have any audio issues, please be sure you're selecting the correct audio preference on the right-hand side. If you do select to use a phone, you will need to dial in and use the access code provided. Just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and it will be posted on the Untangle YouTube channel about 24 hours after the event has ended, so you'll be able to share the webinar or rewatch and revisit areas that you want to follow up on. And as always, we'll be answering questions throughout this presentation. We have some members on staff to help answer questions, so please submit those through the Q&A box on the right-hand side. And if we don't get to your question or you have a very specific question, please email us at sales@untangle.com. And with that, I will pass it over to Katie.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. And thanks for everybody who's been able to attend today. If you're watching this as a recording, thank you for taking the time as well. Hopefully it will be informative to you and you'll leave a little more informed on where Untangle can meet your needs, as well as how you can potentially gain government funding or grants to use towards your purchasing of technology equipment, as well as firewall and router solutions. So the idea today is we're going to tell you a little bit about Untangle, where we came from, how we got to where we are today as a company and a product. I'll give you some information on the product. We'll do a quick demo of the interface, give you a little bit of visibility into the ease of use of our solution, give you some Q&A time. Feel free, as Shannon mentioned, to ask any questions throughout the session. We'll try to feed those in as appropriate. And if we don't get back to your questions online, we will totally answer them after the session ends today. Let's talk a little bit about Untangle. So we've been around, we were founded in 2003, and you might say, wow, I've never heard of these people, but they've been around for a long time. We're a small company. We are focused on the SMB market. We serve those who need an enterprise solution and maybe need a little bit more of an easy interface to use. We focus our product and the build of our product on those who just need the product to work for them and be strategic in their network management, the ability to manage their students and staff on site, as well as when those devices or students and staff leave campus. Untangle fits those needs, and as we get into the demonstration, I'll show you how. But we really stand by our product, and we recognize that there's a need in the industry, in the education industry, in the nonprofit public sector industry, for something that's more affordable as well as easy to use and implement. And I think that's where Untangle fits the bill, and hopefully you'll see that as we go through the product today. So recognizing what your problems are is really key to understanding where to start. So privacy issues, security, visibility are critical in maintaining your network, as well as understanding what's happening on your network. So again, knowledge is power, and once you have that information, you can really do anything you need with Untangle. The reporting visibility is top of the line, and really just understanding the traffic and the privacy issues that you're going to run into once you start having access to Wi-Fi connections, people bringing in BYOD devices to your campuses, how those impact your day-to-day tasks or security levels. It changes drastically once you start having connections on campus. So having the knowledge to know, and Untangle can help you get there. So as you all know, most of you are probably in the IT world. If you're not, you still need to be concerned about the complexities of the devices that are entering your network. They need to be identified, they need to be managed, and they also need to be secure when they're entering your network space. Bandwidth, whether you're domestic here in the United States or you're international in another country, bandwidth is of top priority these days. We need to be productive. We need to have our students meeting their needs on testing. Computer labs need to have priority for testing for any grade level, and really having a key and a hand on your bandwidth usage is really top priority to stay productive. Connections, unknown guests, that's what's going to take down your network, whether it be with bandwidth usage or just malicious intent. People bringing in iPhones, iPads, Androids, Chromebooks, all of those different things that, whether it be on a Friday night football game or a conference that maybe you're hosting on site, you don't know what these devices are that people are bringing on unless you have something that tells you an unknown guest has entered your network. So Untangle, again, gives you the ability to see those. It gives you the ability to manage those. And really, it's something that you can set up in advance to those connections. And we'll get into that as the demo is represented here. And lastly, threats. Again, your malware, spyware, phishing. We live in an age where hacking is normal these days. People are trying to take down systems as a side job. So let's work together to get your network protected, and you'll see that how easy it is with Untangle. So not to beat a dead horse, but gaining visibility and control with Untangle is easy. You set your rules. We like to think of it as a plug and play with minimal management. And the default rules that we have in place out the box are ideal for education setting with CIPA compliance. HIPAA compliance, if you know somebody that is in a medical industry or banking, financial. Again, Untangle is versatile in the way that it can be deployed. So in this space today, it's all about education and how we can protect you. So we'll be defining those roles on today's webinar. But again, going forward, Untangle is a great product for multiple different verticals, and you'll see that as we run through. And we also want to enable you to be able to manage your staff, your teachers, your students, and those who enter your Wi-Fi or your network. So Untangle really is security that fits you. Again, it's versatile, it's customizable. It really does define, you define the roles within Untangle so that your needs are met. You might be a little bit different than the campus down the street, and that's perfectly fine. No Untangle is the same. Everybody uses it differently and to their specific needs and requirements. So as we run through, we'll touch different areas of where you might use your Untangle separately or differently than somebody else. And hopefully that will meet the needs of everybody. So if you're not familiar with Untangle, let's talk a little bit about what we offer. We are a firewall solution, firewall filter solution. We can also be run behind an existing firewall. So if you want to put us in a bridge mode, continue to use and leverage your existing ASAs or another router that you have firewall in place, Untangle can become your filter. And we really do work better as a firewall filter, but again, we can leverage something that you have in place and utilize us as the filtering management portion. So if you break down Untangle into different categories, you'll see that we can protect your network from the firewall, IP, phish blocking, and virus blocking perspective. Excuse me, filtering traffic, web filter, SSL inspection, being able to block HTTPS traffic, application control from an application level. We'll go into a little bit of detail on that and how we can support you there. Performance, that's key in schools, I would imagine. That bandwidth control, being able to manage bandwidth across, again, your networks, your computer labs, making sure that your students have the ability to complete their assignments in class on iPads if that's the case. WAN balancing, failover, that type of thing. Connection, staying connected is important as well. So you want to make sure that the full tunnels with our IPsec VPN when your students are remote, that those devices are still protected, one, as well as the students are protected. The filtering that you have on site as well as off site can be managed through the Untangle. Management, again, if you have policies set up or you have groups, Active Directory, we leverage that. And then managing and understanding the reports and analytics that you can gain from Untangle. Those are really how we break down our product. But Untangle is an all-in-one. We give you all of this in our package, and we'll kind of go over that in just a minute. So let's talk about how you would put Untangle into your network. A second ago I mentioned you can put us in the firewall router space and also use us as the filter, or again, you can leverage what you currently have and use us as the firewall, the filter. So if you put us in a bridge mode, you would simply put us between the firewall and the main switch. It's a seamless, transparent connection. We call that our bridge mode, and we have a lot of customers and clients using us that way. If you want to replace something or you don't have a firewall in place, then you would put us in as the router firewall and leverage all of the powerful network tools. So at that point, we become an inline filter for all traffic. We're not a proxy. We can't be set up as a proxy. So if that's something that you're looking for, we need to make sure that all of your traffic is flowing through Untangle in order for us to visibly see it, as well as be able to manage that traffic and what those devices can do on your network. If you have any questions on, I have an existing network and I need to know where Untangle fits in, give us a call. We're happy to take a look at your network diagram and recommend the best use case for your situation. We'd love to talk to you about it. So before we hop into the CIPA and E-rate areas, let's talk about lastly the benefits again of what Untangle can do. You can see it here on the slide. We're in the business of keeping you as the IT administrator safe, keeping your job as easy as possible, and all the while keeping your students and staff on task. You want to make sure that they're safe. You're not setting yourself up for a liability claim for anything like that. So you want to be able to respond quickly to any type of incidences that happen. And again, managing your guest Wi-Fi for events that happen, your Friday night football games, your conferences on Saturdays when people have conferences on site. Just being able to set and enforce policies even when you're not on site would be peace of mind to me, I would assume to yourselves as well. So hopefully Untangle will be a good fit. So let's talk about CIPA and E-rate. As most of you on this call might be aware, USAC, E-rate, CIPA, all of those are terms that are used to protect you as the schools and libraries. CIPA, being the Child Internet Protection Act, has specific requirements that have to be met in order to qualify. USAC is the government funding, and E-rate is the term for the funding. So if you're not familiar with that, we do have some, and I'll show you in just a second, but we have some websites that you can visit. And Untangle does qualify. We qualify under Category 2 for firewalls. And I would recommend you take a second to look, because you really can get some good return on your increase of network security, firewall equipment. There are a lot of things that you can get funding for, and Untangle can help you with that as well. So let's take a second. I want to show you a few areas that are great to look at. So if you go to Untangle, if you go to untangle.com, you will be able to see under the, if you type in E-rate funding in our search box at the top, or scroll over the resources tab, you'll see K-12 CIPA compliance. This takes you to our page on E-rate and USAC information. So you can see our SPIN number up top. This is going to be important to you as you submit your Form 470s. And just a reminder, that form, the end date for funding is cut off on May 11th. So you have a couple of weeks left. And we'd love to talk to you about what your needs are, where we can help you. Let's get you some pricing so that you can submit those forms so that you can get government grants and payment for increasing your security on your sites. Again, our website is full of information on E-rate. You can read through here. And then we also have some great resource links at the very bottom that will bring you to USAC and the FCC government regulations. And I've pulled those up here. You can take a look at the USAC administrative website to go through a variety of different areas. You can apply for E-rate through here. And as I mentioned just a second ago, the window is closing on May 11th. So it gives you a countdown. So keep that on your calendar as well. As well, we also have the Category 2 addendums that are here based on how we qualify and what you need to look for in terms of getting qualification. So take a few minutes to look through that. You can find all of that information on our website. I do want to state that unfortunately we cannot provide counsel on how to represent the product, but E-Rate and USAC does provide consultants that you can leverage for those for the implementation or the submission of your forms. I would highly recommend reaching out to E-Rate to get started, as well as possibly working with a consultant that they offer to answer questions. We can provide pricing information in terms of what our packages entail, but really they would be the ones to define and determine what percentage of your installation would be granted for a refund. So keep that in mind as you go through. We're happy to help you as much as we can, but we legally cannot provide counsel on what's going to be approved. So let's hop back to our slide deck and we'll move through. And let's hop into the demo. I'm going to show you the interface. I'm going to show you some areas where schools can take advantage of Untangle, and a little bit about how we function. So we're going to go through the Untangle as a whole. If you're not familiar with Untangle, we have some great new features that we offer. If you've got multiple schools or you're a district and you're looking to manage multiple Untangles from one place, our newly released Command Center or centrally managed cloud offering can really take all of your Untangle deployments and give you visibility to map and filter across your network. Or your deployment, excuse me. So this, what you're seeing on the screen here is our Command Center. It gives you some information on your appliances, where they're located. It gives you some information on each box, as well as your IP addresses, your locations. And this kind of gives you a start for where you can see all of your appliances. So if you click on the appliances view, this is a demo site, of course, so there's not going to be much traffic going through them, but it gives you a good idea of what you're going to see. You'll see all of your list of appliances here. And the best part about the Command Center is that it allows you to remotely access your boxes. So if I was to select here, hopefully you can see the screen okay. Shannon, does it look okay for you?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. So if you click on this specific box, you'll see that this is a U25. This is one of our smaller offering appliances, but it gives you all of the information on the box. It gives you some resource information with memory, disk space, your CPU loads, and it gives you also your licensing that's on the box. It also can give you some alerts. Let's see, there we go. Whoops, sorry about that. Gives you some alerts. You can set these up so that you have visibility to any issues that are happening on your network for this specific location. It also has, it's a cloud-based offering so that you can log in, remotely access those boxes. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and log into the interface now. Wait a second to load. All right, so this is the beauty of Untangle. So what you're going to see here, again, the Command Center is kind of where you can manage all of your Untangle deployments, but once you get into the Untangle interface, this is how you're going to manage each site. This dashboard view is fully customizable. As you see here, we've got different widgets, as we call them, on the dashboard. It's fully responsive, so if you're on the go, you can manage from a smartphone or an iPad. You can do all of that with the Untangle interface. So as you can see here, you'll have information on bandwidth issues, web filter issues. If you have somebody that is a problem student or a problem staff member that you continue to have issues with, maybe them streaming things that they shouldn't be or visiting sites that they shouldn't be, you can create a widget or a specific report for that individual, put it on your dashboard, and anytime something happens with that specific individual or something out of the ordinary spikes some interest, you have visibility to that on the network. So by default, these are all of the widgets that we put, but you can wipe this clean and really start fresh with things that are important to you and your network. This would make your job much easier. You can keep this up on your computer there in your office, and just have access at any point. So this is the dashboard. Again, it's fully customizable. You can take custom reports that you've created, put those on your dashboard, and then be able to manage very easily that way. We won't go too much in depth with that. We do have some tech talk sessions that kind of go over Command Center. It goes over reporting and all of our features as well that go into more depth on how to configure. But again, this is a high level to show you what Untangle offers you. And we can definitely set up a specific demo or a one-on-one after the session if you have specific questions on your network and how we can help you there. So let's dive into the apps. I think this is the most important part on seeing how Untangle will help you. As a school, you have, I would assume, grade levels, and you have staff members that maybe you want to have specific filtering requirements for, or access, so to speak. So with Untangle, you're going to look at our web filtering, you're going to look at our policy management, possibly if you leverage Active Directory, we have a directory connector that allows you to filter based on username versus IP address. That helps you with the reports. Maybe you have to present to your principal or your boss specific areas of concern on the network, and really understanding what devices and who those devices belong to is going to help you in leveraging how to manage those devices going forward. So, and I'll show you that information in the reports as we get there. But let's start with web filter. I think this is the key to Untangle, and I really do think it's the heartbeat of our product line. Everything else works in line with the web filter, but the filtering of URL content is really going to be key as you move forward. So it's category based. As you can see here, we have 140 categories, and by default you'll have some websites that are blocked and flagged, and again, out the door you have minimal filtering, but you can really customize any of these to meet your needs. Maybe you're in the healthcare industry, or maybe you're in insurance or anything like that, or you know somebody that could potentially use us. Here's all the categories. Again, there's 140 here, and the URL database that we leverage increases daily. It's dynamically updated so that if anybody comes on, or any URLs come online that are not in our database, it is updated on the fly. So you're able to use and benefit from any of the other customers that are using Untangle. They are, we're updating this daily to the minute, really dynamically, so that everybody is protected as best we can. So let's talk about the block and flag areas of web filter. I think this is great as those of you are going to start trialing and testing out the product after the session, I would hope. And if you are blocking and flagging, this really does give you visibility to what's happening on the network. Unfortunately, us as humans realize once you're being filtered, you're not going to act the same. You're going to stop the actions that you are doing on a daily basis. So Untangle gives you the ability to flag versus block. And I think as you do some testing and trialing of the product, we will be able to show you what's actually happening on the network. So if a student is visiting sites that they shouldn't be, we give you the ability to recognize that, and then what you can do as the IT administrator is say, okay, when you sit down and review the analytics at the end of your trial, it gives you the ability to say, we need to make these changes because these actions were taken in the last 14 or 30 days. So flagging allows you to allows you to pass the traffic, but still have visibility to areas of concern that might cause issues down the road. So keep that in mind as you start to try the product. Again, this is growing. It's a moving list, and it's constantly being updated. Web filter allows you to put in block lists, pass list, whitelist, blacklist, however you need to define your network. Web filter can allow you to do that. And you can, it's as easy as this. You're going to enter your sites here, maybe put a description. This is what's going to show up on your block page. So if you put in Amazon.com, for an example, or YouTube, what you can do is put a description here. This doesn't meet your curriculum. Please contact your IT department for assistance. And then you are alerted of that, and you can take the appropriate steps there. Again, pass sites, again, block sites and pass sites. If you want to pass clients, maybe your principal doesn't want to be filtered, or maybe you have an open policy with your teachers and staff on an honor program and you want to put their devices on a pass list, you can put in an IP range or a specific device, and those will pass through the Untangle filtering. That's going to make your life a little bit easier. So if a teacher is trying to do an educational session on certain sites or areas of the internet that could be an issue, they can be passed for a certain amount of time. You can also give them a password to bypass the block page. But the beauty of that is, regardless if you've blocked, flagged, or passed a site, you still have visibility to all of the traffic that's happening. So even if a teacher puts in a password in the block page, it will say this domain or this URL was visited and by this staff member at this time. You still have visibility so that you can keep track of what's actually happening. And all of that is available in the reports. You can create specific rules based on the web content filter itself. It's as simple as selecting a protocol here. We've got a huge list. You can create as many rules as you want and to help you meet your needs of the network. So again, as you can see here, it's pretty easy to set up and you can block and flag those areas as needed. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you, but I just want to get through some areas of concern. You always want to make sure safe search is enabled. We can help you with blocking pages, restrictions with Google applications. There's a bunch of different areas if you want to look into that. During the 14-day trial, if you're interested in that, you do have full support. So if you have any questions on specifics of how you want to manage the Untangle on your network, or if you want to get some reports to be able to review, we encourage you to reach out to our support technicians so that they can help you configure as well as review the reporting. And I'm going to skip the reports within WebFilter. We'll hit that in just a little bit. So that's WebFilter in a nutshell, and I would kind of do you a disservice if I didn't touch on the SSL inspection that works hand in hand with our WebFilter. It is certificate based. What this allows you to do is block HTTPS traffic. It allows you to configure and set up and make sure that you are protected so that your filtering is in place and students cannot get around your filtering. So it's easy to, it's somewhat easy to configure. You can download your root certificates here. You can download the installer. And again, those Tech Talk sessions that I mentioned earlier, we've gone through how to set these up. That would be a great session for you if you're not familiar on SSL inspection and interpreting certificates and how to put those in place. Remember, Untangle is a gateway solution, so everything will be filtered from the gateway and reported on from the gateway per device. Setting up rules, and again, your reports are specific to each individual module, but we can go into that so you can see all of the areas of reporting at the end. So WebFilter, SSL Inspection, those are great apps. Let's talk about bandwidth control for just a second. This is another key piece that I was mentioning before. So if you're looking at a computer lab and you have 30 students and 30 computers in the lab that need to do testing on Friday at 3 o'clock, or well, 3 o'clock, let's say 12 o'clock. I'm thinking school day versus business day, sorry. So 12 o'clock, they have a testing that they need to get done, and they need prioritized traffic from the network. Bandwidth control allows you to take those devices or that range of IP addresses and say, I'm going to take 100% of my network and I'm going to allocate 60% of our bandwidth or 30% of our bandwidth to these computers in this lab for the next 2 hours. This is going to allow you to make sure that those students are successful in their testing, that you don't run out, you don't time out on the bandwidth. It also enables you to say, okay, if Timmy down the hall has his iPad and he is misusing the internet and streaming or running BitTorrent or doing something, streaming Netflix or something that he shouldn't be doing, he's not going to manipulate your network in a way that causes issues in your testing areas. And the cool thing about Untangle, if you're not aware, is you can set up your bandwidth rules, but you can also put them in, put those devices or those users into a penalty box, and it's similar to a hockey match. So if you get fouled on the ice, you go into a penalty box for 2 minutes or however long they define. You as the IT administrator can set up a penalty box for those devices, and really they're going to kick themselves off. So what's happening on your network at that point is if they visit a site that they're not supposed to, it will look like it's going to load, but it's going to continue to load and load and load. And whatever time you have submitted for that, that quota, or the penalty box, Untangle is going to continue to load that page. So ideally, they're going to kick themselves off over a period of time. You haven't done anything but set it up on the back end, and that device or that user is going to kick themselves off. That's an ideal situation for you. There's no need to step in. You've set up the Untangle. Even if you're off-site, off-campus, you still have the ability to keep those areas protected on your network. So that penalty box is a great feature, especially in a school setting when you've got students who are smarter by day by day, and they try to get around things as best. I mean, that's their goal, is to beat the system and to get around your filtering so that they can do what they want. Let's put Untangle in place so that you can manage those students and really restrict what they're able to do on your network. The bandwidth control, again, allows you to set quotas. So penalty boxes are one area that's a great feature, setting quotas or limits. Let's say you want to maybe allow your teachers to go to Facebook on their lunch breaks, or you want to allow certain areas of the internet to be accessed. Taking a second here, again, this is a demo box, but what it allows you to do is set up a quota based on time of day, day of week. And if you're using this outside of a school area, maybe you want to say the internet shuts off at 9 o'clock or after your homework is done. Here's some areas that are, and it looks like it's taking a second to load, so I apologize for that. Might be some internet issues on our side, but hopefully I can get around it. It's not going to take us back out. Hang on one second. All right, there we go. So again, it shouldn't take that long, but ideally, there are some areas of setting limits and quotas on your network that will be of assistance to you, and that works hand in hand with our penalty boxes. So that's bandwidth control that allows you to prioritize traffic. Let's talk about application control, because in a school setting, again, YouTube, Instagram, Skype, UltraSurf, those types of URL applications, Untangle scans those sessions and identifies the applications and allows based on your filtering. So Untangle is synergistic that the web filter allows you to do URL filtering. SSL Inspection works in line with web filter. It allows you to do HTTPS blocking. If you wanted to set those limits and prioritize your traffic, bandwidth control works in line with those. Application control is no different. If this application is enabled, it says, okay, if I'm looking at Facebook, I want to allow certain areas of Facebook to be accessed on my campus, but I don't want maybe messaging or posting on your profile or even viewing videos. I mean, there's tons and games on Facebook. You can define what those devices are allowed to do on your network or while they're on Facebook. Application control, again, has a list of applications. There's tons here. And you can search YouTube, Google, UltraSurf, certain areas, email, all of those different things. You want to make sure that certain things are not downloaded on your campus at the same time. Maybe iTunes pushes out an update. You want to make sure that you have visibility to any updates that are happening so it doesn't take your network down. Application control and web filter will help you with that. So hopefully you get an idea of what Untangle can do in a nutshell with filtering, with bandwidth shaping and prioritizing your traffic, allowing certain areas of the internet to be accessed while others are not. And I think the next important area to touch on is not everybody in a school setting is going to have the same access. So if you have a K-12, grades 1 through 12, or you're maybe an elementary school with first grade through fifth grade, you want to have separate access to each grade level. So the cool thing about Untangle is we're one interface, but you can set up multiple channels within Untangle, and that's what we call our policy manager. So with our policy manager, you're able to set up groups and restrict and allow access based on those groups and where they fall in your Active Directory. Or if you don't use Active Directory, you can set it up locally on the Untangle box and filter those devices through there. So what I've done here is you can set up policies. What I did before the session was set up a teacher rack versus a student rack, and I'll show you how easy it is to set up a third rack or a fourth rack. So let's do staff at this point. So maybe this is your office staff. and your principals or your administrative staff. And then, we don't want to inherit any policies, so we're going to say none here. So what this is going to do, it's going to create a separate rack here, and that's how easy it is to create a rack. So what I'm going to show you is if we go back to the interface from the main Untangle GUI, oops, let me click OK here, sorry. From the main interface, what you'll have is a list of all of your default racks here. You'll start with your default rack. Everything is installed. This was our demo box that we started with, but as you can see, if you don't want to inherit any policies from your default rack, you can really specify what's going to be next. So if you see here, there are no applications installed. Let me show you again. So the default rack has everything installed. You are now creating a separate policy for your teachers. And again, this is just an example, but what you want to do is you want to understand where they have access and where they don't. So as easy as installing these applications into your teacher rack, this is all you need. So let's go over the ones we did. We did web filter, bandwidth control. We did application control, SSL inspector. So let's do those for now. If you go back, now you see that my teacher rack listed here, I have the ability to set up specific rules based on my teacher's access with web filtering, bandwidth control, SSL. So you're prioritizing maybe your teacher's devices at the beginning of the day for attendance, for testing, those types of things, and then everybody else on the network is defined based on their rules. Again, same thing for your student rack. I go here, I don't have any applications. I'm going to say if my first graders get web filtering, SSL inspector, maybe they're really only allowed to go to 2 sites. You can set that up for your first graders. I did student rack here, but you get the gist here. So again, policy management allows you to take one Untangle instance, separate out policies per groups or per grade level, maybe teacher versus students, and really require certain areas of restriction based on who they are and what devices they're using. This actually is in line with maybe setting up a remote access. So if you have devices that are leaving the network, maybe you have a one-to-one program, or you have Chromebooks that your students need to do educational homework at home. When those devices leave campus, you can set up a separate policy that they route back to your Untangle, and maybe let's do remote. Let's say this one, instead of staff, it was your remote Chromebooks. Those are going to route back through Untangle, and you're going to have filtering policies based on the campus restrictions. So when those students are at home, they're still protected. The device is protected from maybe downloading anything that's malicious. And when those students come back to the campus and they connect again, their first grade level restrictions are in place. So keep that in mind. That's a great feature that Untangle offers as well for schools. I know a lot of schools are going to the one-to-one programs if you're not already there. You do have concerns about filtering off-site and all those areas. So Untangle can definitely help you with that. And again, the directory connector says, okay, this is Tim Smith's box, or this is Tim Smith's iPad or Chromebook. So your reports, when Tim Smith is at home, you still have visibility to those devices. Shannon, how are we doing on questions? I feel like I've been talking for a little bit here, but how are we doing? Is everybody being taken care of on the back end with questions?
Yeah, we have a lot of very technical questions, which I just want to reiterate that we do have a tech talk session for all of these applications that we have, and where we go into a very deep dive into the technical aspects of each application and how to set those up, since this is more of a high-level overview. We did have one question that I think pertains to libraries in terms of they have a lot of guests that come on the network. How can they manage all those users and also comply with CIPA? Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And I think libraries as well as schools actually inherit those same problems. So with our Wi-Fi connections, Untangle gives you visibility to everybody that enters your network. So you can set up alerts for unknown devices. You can set up alerts for specific MAC addresses. So if it's an Apple iPad or an iPhone, you can set up restrictions. Maybe it's an Android phone. You can set up restrictions for your Wi-Fi network specifically. So again, that uses Policy Manager, and you would set up a Wi-Fi rack. And then I know I have talked to a couple of library customers who say, we want to have filtering in place, but we have restrictions on what we can actually filter. It's almost like an honor program, and
while you need to be CIPA compliant, you are with Untangle, but maybe the regulations in your region or your library are specific to, we need to allow everybody to kind of make their own decisions, but we need to protect ourselves as well. Untangle can allow you to do that with the web filtering and the SSL inspection, as well as the reports. You can still see what's going on, and then if anything needs to take place to make sure that you're protected and your patrons are protected, you can do that. So again, your policy management, setting up a Wi-Fi rack, and regulating the content that is filtered would be how you do that.
Great.
Other questions that maybe we can touch on?
There was a question on, I think a lot of this also pertains to hotels as well. You know, how can they make sure that everyone is agreeing to the terms that the library must comply to, you know, that you often see when you're logging in at a hotel Wi-Fi.
Great question.
Which we do have a solution for that, Katie, if you want to go over to the captive portal.
Yeah, for sure.
Location.
And this is in line with library Wi-Fi connection as well. Maybe BYOD in a school setting where you have, you know, parents and students coming on site or on campus on a Friday night. This captive portal is actually a great feature that Untangle offers. One, it requires authentication to, you know, accept a checkbox that says, this is our acceptable use policy. You're agreeing that you're not going to do certain things on our network, and it basically protects you. Once that device captures that IP address, which is required to access the network, Untangle then routes them based on the type of device that it is or the type of traffic. So ideally you would want to route all of those through your Wi-Fi, and then you again have your specific rules set up for your Wi-Fi rack. So it really does log all of the traffic that's happening, but if you set up, if you pre-configure your Wi-Fi connection or your Wi-Fi filtering based on certain areas of access, you should be good with that. So again, the captive portal is, you can create a basic login. We also give you the ability to, and maybe it's username and password, or if you're in a hotel, maybe it's last name and room number. Here's where you would put your acceptable use policy for students, maybe patrons that come on Friday night to your football game, those types of areas. This is a pretty basic login page. We actually can get pretty in-depth with customizing. You have to be familiar with Python and being able to build it out, but you know, we can help you with that as well if you have any questions. And in this area, you would be able to customize, maybe put your school logo, put you know, a calendar of events, those types of things that are pertinent to your library or your school that you want people to be aware of. So if somebody visits your site or your campus often, you want to keep them up to date on what's happening, maybe a PTA meeting or something like that that's coming up. Those are all areas of customization that we can allow you to do. But that does take a little bit more time. Again, if you want a basic message and a basic login, that's pretty straightforward out the door. So hopefully, I know that was probably a long answer to the library question, but I think it pertains to everybody on this call in respect to logins and protection.
Yep. Thanks, Katie.
Awesome. How are we doing on time?
We're getting close to it.
Okay.
If you want to show maybe if the report.
Yeah, I think that's great. Let's wrap up with the reports here. Feel free to ask your questions in the question and answer panel if you have any additional questions that we can touch on here. If not, we'll get to you after. But one of the most important areas, or the most you know, exciting areas of Untangle is the reports. Everybody is interested in filtering. Everybody is interested in protecting their network. But how do you do it? All of the modules, of course, assist you with that. But being able to visualize what's actually happening, and actually, let me go back here. Being able to visualize all of the areas of concern on a network, or all of the traffic that's being passed and filtered, Untangle does a great job of our reports. We've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years tweaking areas of the reports, giving you really the ability to manage and see anything that's happening. And by default, we've created reports for you, and as you can see here, this kind of breaks down by each module. So I think Web Filter is sometimes the best one to look at for the reports. But as you see, these are all default reports that we've created. We think these are probably the top requested areas of interest. So you can look it up by top clients, by size, flagged and blocked. That's what I was mentioning at the beginning of the call. If you want to see top flagged clients, you can say, during my 14-day trial, Tim Smith on his iPad was visiting these sites this many times in the last 14 days. This is, again, a demo box, so you're only seeing one here, but ideally you would see multiple different clients and devices in the same network. Furthermore, if you go to blocked categories or blocked clients, this shows you Tim Smith, once we put Untangle in place, he was not able to reach this, but he tried. He was blocked with the block page here. All of your information would be listed here. So again, all of these default reports are what we think are probably important, but maybe you don't see a report that you need specifically. What we would do is we would start with one and we would add conditional formatting here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know it's a little further down. Sorry about that. But whoops, that's not what I meant to do. So the conditional formats allow you to pick protocols or areas of concern. So if you wanted to pick a specific client, equals, IP address this, there are certain things that you can tweak to these default reports to create a custom report. And at that point, you would then take your custom report, and as I mentioned at the very beginning with our dashboard, you can take those custom reports, add them to your widget view, and then you can select those to be on your dashboard. And your custom reports would be listed here for anybody, any reports that you created. So that really does save your time. It saves you on, having to log through the system and go through each application. You can really have it visually on your homepage. So again, as you can see, the reports are pretty robust. It's probably one of our greatest features of Untangle. We allow you to manage and keep your network safe, but we really do give you visibility to everything. And I think that is priceless at the end of the day when you have legal issues or you have HR issues, or maybe you have a student who is not complying with the codes of conduct. You can really save yourself and be able to report. Untangle does have a data retention of about 365 days. By default, we only set it to 7, but you can keep reports and information stored on your box for that long. Again, keep in mind the more reports you have, the custom reports you have, that's going to take up more of the load on the box. But if you wanted to export those off and keep them in a syslog or something like that, you could keep it longer than that. So Untangle does have a year's worth of data retention, but you can get around that with exporting and keeping in your another area. And lastly, I want to touch on the alerts. So if you did want to have specific alerts set up for misuse on your network, you can absolutely do that. You can do it by top alerts. You can do it by specific alerts per device or per category or group. Maybe a student is trying to access pornography on your network. That, of course, is of concern. If anybody is doing that on your school network, you absolutely want to be alerted by that. So you can set up a specific alert for anybody or any time that something along those lines are trying to be accessed on your sites. And you can, again, add these to your dashboard. It makes it easy for you to see and enable yourself to manage your network. So I think with that, I will pass it back over to Shannon. Let's finish up for the day, and we will, let's go back to, here we go. Let's go back to our slide deck here. Hopefully that was informative for you, and actually I'm going to take over just a little bit more. I apologize, I forgot we had some additional slides here. So if you're wondering how to get started, I mentioned the 14-day trial is a great place. If you're ready to move forward, again, I mentioned that E-rate funding period is coming to an end pretty quickly. So if you're looking for a filter and you want to get a government grant to use towards that, please get in touch with us. We will be following up with most of you after based on questions, but please get in touch if we can set up a separate demo to talk about your individual environment and how Untangle can help you. If you want to get started immediately and you want to have an appliance as well as the software offered, on this deck here we have a list of all of our appliances. We go as small as a U25 and we go as large as a 2U rack mount M3000. Ideally that would support between 3,500 to 4,500 devices on your network and 25 respectively. So and we go up in terms of use case. So let us know if you want a demo. Let us know if we can put some pricing together for you. We have our appliances. This is really a plug and play offering. It's convenient to you. We would apply software to these boxes. which is what would give you our complete package that I was going through in the demo. If you're interested in looking at some references, we absolutely have these available for you. Right here is a couple of our schools and libraries that use our product and are very happy with it. Again, this is only a few, but you can look at the resources tab on our website to find more. And I think what I'll do is if Shannon had any other questions that came through that we didn't get, we can answer those now. But if not, I will take us back to the website to show you a few areas that could help.
Yeah, just a few questions, I think. I know you mentioned the appliances, but I also want to read, some people are asking if they have to purchase an appliance. And so just want to reiterate that, no, we're a software solution primarily. We do offer appliances for those customers that just want a plug-and-play solution, but you can also download the software on your own server, or run it as a VM. So those are some options.
Yeah, so to reiterate that, we're a Linux-based operating system. We do require a dedicated piece of hardware, and whether that be our appliance, as you saw on the previous slide, if you leverage or repurpose the server that you have in place. Again, remember that we are a Linux-based operating system, so we will overwrite anything that you have on that box. So you want to make sure that you're only using it for Untangle purposes. Third, if you're looking to put us in a virtual environment, we absolutely have an OVA file that you can download if that's the case.
Great. And then I know you're going to get to this, but people are asking, you know, where they can find some pricing, and so I just want to let you kind of show where they can get that. All of our pricing's online. We don't hide it from you.
Absolutely. So let's, if you're looking at the screen here, you can scroll over solutions to find additional information on all of the different verticals, K-12 higher education and libraries. You know, you can find information there. If you're looking at the Untangle solution as a whole, we would want to look at the software packages here. For your school and library settings, we offer special pricing, so do keep that in mind. Public Sector Complete is for qualifying institutions such as public schools, libraries, state and local government institutions. The Nonprofit Complete package, Public Sector Complete is 50% off of the commercial pricing, and then Nonprofit Complete is 40% off, but we do allow nonprofit, private schools, and religious organizations to take take advantage of the Nonprofit Complete package. So as I was mentioning with the demo, the Complete package does offer you everything that you saw. Web filtering, SSL inspection, live support, which is a key feature to help you configure and set up. If you run into any issues, you do have that included in your Complete package. And you can find all of the information on our website as you saw me click on, scroll over the NG Firewall, click on software packages. And as Shannon was mentioning, all of our pricing is on the website as well. If you're interested in seeing where you would fall, you can click on the Buy tab in the upper right-hand corner here. It'll take you to our configuration page, which is pretty simple to walk through. So if you wanted to select an appliance, let's just take a look at a U150 for an example. We include a 1-year warranty. You would select the appropriate package based on your qualification of maybe a public sector, public school, and then you would be able to configure based on your needs. So again, pricing is all listed here. You can set it up to add to your cart and get a personalized quote if you're interested in that. If you're not ready to purchase just yet, you can print a quote here from the website. That will help you with having the conversation with your boss or maybe your budget or board to figure out where and when you can put something in place. But again, if you have any questions on pricing or if you've got a district that you're looking at, please do reach out to us. We're happy to have a call and put something together for you based on your needs specifically. So.
Great. Yeah, just want to quickly showcase where you can download the product. So it's really simple. It's on the top header. You click download and it gives you some options based on your requirements that you need. And as Katie was mentioning, we do offer live support. So if you do need help getting that set up, you know, you can take advantage of that. I think that's about all the questions we have right now. Again, as Katie mentioned, if you have anything that pops up, please just email us. If we go back to slides really quick, we'll just finish this presentation up. So we finished the Q&A. As I mentioned, we're here for you to talk, whether you want to talk on the phone or via email. We have people standing by wanting to chat with you and learn how Untangle can help fit into your school or library environment. We have a couple of resources, which I don't think we went over the demo, but if you wanted to just go and look at the interface without installing the product, we have a demo server, demo.untangle.com, if you just want to go in and play and look at how the interface is, as well as Katie mentioned that we have the CIPA and E-rate funding information. I'll be sending a follow-up email after this with all of these resources available to you so that you can read those at your convenience. And we have another webinar coming up next month. We were mentioning how Untangle can be set up as a virtual machine, so we're actually going to be doing a tech talk, which is a very technical demonstration on how Untangle can be set up as a virtual machine. So if you're interested in learning about that, this is a great solution for you. And you can always check out our upcoming webinars on our website. Thanks so much, Katie, for the great demo. And
for sure, and do keep in mind if you're interested in the E-rate funding period, it does close pretty quickly, so I would suggest getting in touch with us so that we can get a quote together for you so that you can submit your Form 470 with the appropriate pricing and areas of what you're interested in getting. So let us know what we can do to help. We're here to support you. We're here to set up a separate demo and answer any questions that you have.
Great. Thanks, Katie.
Awesome.
And yeah, we'll hope to see you at our next webinar. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.